Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. You are listening to a podcast by Pastor Eric Deepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. If you enjoy Faith Over Breakfast, we encourage you to rate it on the Apple Podcast app, on Spotify, or Google Play. Thank you and enjoy the podcast. Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. My name is Eric Deepen, and I am pastor of the Village. And across from me is Andy Littleton, and he is pastor of Mission Church in Tucson, Arizona.
Yes.
And we haven't been around for a while doing this podcast, but
we've been around.
We just haven't been podcasting in a while. But for sure, we're going to have two in the books, this one and next week, because you heard us schedule it. So, or something like that. So
yeah, and I just want to, I always feel the need to give these disclaimers, but this is a regrouping podcast for Eric and I. If you deeply care about what's going on in our lives and how we're trying to schedule our upcoming time, then this one's for you. But also, if you're not so into that, you can hit that little fast forward button, and it gets more, complex as it goes on.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's just me trying to serve.
Just you trying to serve.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, enjoy the podcast, guys. I probably need to use that $20 to buy a new set of headphones.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a big 20.
I got a big 20.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know what to do with it. I don't even know what to do with being here with you, Eric.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, it's really been a long time.
Yeah. Well,
I think people are afraid that they broke the podcast, or we are broken, or something happened to us.
They did, and we are. It's all true.
Yeah.
But here we are.
There's so much to talk about.
Is there?
I think.
I thought we had nothing to talk about.
The world is falling apart.
Is it?
Nonstop.
Again? Well, what's going on? Tell me about it.
I don't know.
I've just been
had COVID.
I've just been watching the Phillies.
Yeah. You've just been watching baseball. You don't really do pastor work. You just watch baseball.
That's it.
It's just...
No, yeah, definitely not true. There's been 2 World Series games. I only watched 3/4 of one, Eric.
Wow.
This is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
That means I prioritized something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not making it here at 7.
No.
We may need to change the time, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah. Trouble is, when's the other good time for the two of us?
Well,
should we figure this out with our listeners?
Yeah, I can
folks,
work it around to 8 if we have to go back to our old time.
See, I have an 8:30 every Tuesday, except
can you push them forward to
time.
9? Who's this 8:30 person?
So Colby and Kristen infuse. I don't know. There's actually, I don't think so, because of a follow-up meeting one of them has usually. This week it's off.
Well, maybe we have to change the day.
Maybe.
What about a Thursday
morning? You never know
morning?
the day or the hour. Nope. Committed.
Uncommit and move them to Tuesday.
I can't.
So we can't just podcast, is what you're saying.
I mean, earlier in the year, I talked to you about how my schedule was changing. I didn't know if I could do this.
Oh.
And then you were very committed, and I said, okay, I'll try. So I'm trying. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Remember that?
Yeah, no. I thought you were ready to move on, you said.
Well, the moving on had to do with looking at available mornings, especially, and going, it's kind of changed.
Do you have available other times?
But then we have to change the name of the podcast. Faith
over
lunch.
Lunch. Oh, that's okay. We just can hang on to breakfast.
Yeah.
As long as we have coffee.
There are probably sometimes, I don't know.
Right.
Our middle of the days, I tend to have to use those sometimes. Right. But I don't know. Maybe you don't do that stuff? Middle of the day?
I do too.
Meetings? Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
But, I like this. I think it has a broad impact, so I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I just need to get some guest hosts, and then.
Well, that's kind of what I was also saying. You could involve other people.
I could.
Yeah, and
but
then
you and I have a dynamic. People like to listen to us.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
Okay. It's not, Mark doesn't have that dynamic.
No.
Wow. So I'm sorry, Mark.
Well, not faith over breakfast.
It's different.
I hang out with Mark all the time.
It's different. Yeah. Okay.
I hang out with Michael all the time. We have a podcast we do already.
Right. And it probably has more listeners. Let's be real.
This is the one. This is the one.
Well, we're losing them all now because as
like,
you know,
what the heck is going on?
As
here?
You know,
this is
my least favorite
podcast.
Thing to do. Yeah. Andy and Eric try to work out, they're not just when they're going to meet, but they're dynamic.
Yes, they're dynamic. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I like hanging out with you too. I just hate, struggling to get it done. Yeah, my Monday mornings are full. My Tuesdays are weird. My Wednesdays are committed. My Thursdays are committed. My Fridays are possible.
My Fridays are committed.
Your Fridays are committed. Not doing Saturday or Sunday. Well, look at that.
Look at that.
We need one more day in the week.
We do. All righty.
There is something. I mean, Tuesday's the better. It gets kind of like today was, daughter ended up going to school. My wife's working. I'm doing it. Left later.
Gotcha.
Well, these are the
compelling podcasts with Andy and Eric. Faith
so
over breakfast. Well, we have faith that maybe we can continue this.
Yeah, and maybe what we're doing right now is we're just giving you a gentle off ramp to never hearing our voices again. As we drift into the distance, talking about our schedules, people just start unsubscribing slowly, and it all just comes to a nice settled end. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No.
Well, what do you want to talk about today?
I don't know. I had COVID.
Oh yeah, how was your COVID?
It was terrible.
Really? You got a terrible version?
I don't know. It was like the worst cold I'd ever had in my life.
Worst cold. Okay.
What
was the...
Started with a fever. Then I had a headache where I was just laying in bed with a towel on my head all day. Ooh. Then I got a sore throat that felt like I was swallowing razor blades.
Oh.
And then I would just break out in sweats every day. Soak the bed, wake up in the middle of the night.
That's fun.
It was about for a week, and then it just kind of went into congestion.
Okay. Spread around the family?
Nope.
No, just you.
No, I isolated.
When
they all stayed in different bedrooms.
When my wife got COVID on vacation,
and
I couldn't isolate, my daughter and I never got it.
Yeah.
Unless we had it before, but we didn't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, you never know with those things. Anyway,
so just you.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason we haven't had podcasts.
That is part of it.
Because your wife vetoed the last one.
Well, she did. She did.
She's wise and thoughtful.
She said, how about you follow the CDC guidelines here? And so there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was like kind of getting ready to come, and then was like kind of asked. Yeah, I was sitting right next to her when I texted you, and she's like, supposed to be 10 days.
Supposed to be 10 days. Of course, healthcare workers, it's 5.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, so she doesn't follow CDC.
Yeah, it's we have marveled at the oddity of that.
Yeah, well, they need workers. Anyway, all that to say is I had to be very careful not to become like a right-wing fanatic sitting there.
Oh, yeah?
Very sick. And
that's all it took?
Oh, man.
1 week?
I was targeted by like lots of conservative ads because all I did was stare a lot of time at TV.
Oh.
And all I could...
There's a lot of conservative ads on TV. There's a lot of both.
Yes. But so-and-so is bad for Arizona. Man. So-and-so is too liberal for Arizona. So-and-so is going to take all your money. So-and-so is... I was like,
That's been my least favorite thing about watching World Series or like a playoff game is in between all the plays. It's just like 8 straight horrendous political ads.
Right, and they're and I'm pretty sure the same company makes the ads for both sides.
Because they're all exactly the same.
It's just the same thing.
This isn't going to work.
It's like plug and play.
At some point, I virtually figure that they are all worthless.
Yes.
All the ads. I think these are all.
They are.
They're all going to portray the other person as the darkest, most evil villain of all time.
So one of the big things that everybody's talking about, and probably when this podcast goes out, it'll just be right before all this happens. When is Election Day?
Next Tuesday, the day that we'll be, here
Yeah,
doing all
hopefully
the day that I've completely derailed your day already.
Yes, and you actually promised me a podcast. So you worked your world
I said,
around
look, I'll
mine.
give you a little podcast if you give me hours of your life and your building. And,
I see that.
But I'll buy you lunch.
But you'll buy me lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll
be election day. It's all at the same time.
Right. So there's this huge prediction of the red wave.
The red wave.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was
curious to see
it was
what
kind
happens.
of a blue wave last time.
Yeah, and now it'll be the red one.
But what do people think? How strong is the blue wave due to the Roe stuff? Like that gave some fuel or some undercurrent, if you will, stick with the metaphor, to the blue wave.
Yeah, so they think. I think that from what I've been watching from both conservative and liberal pollsters and people who've it's not going to be good for the Democrats.
Oh, it's a red wave.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that you're wearing a red shirt today? Is that part of the?
Yeah, it's part of it.
You've been
you
influenced?
got the red hat.
Do I?
Ugly but honest.
Maroon.
Yeah, maroon. Okay.
I was thinking Phillies, but okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. I mean, they're calling it Red October in Philadelphia.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not a Phillies fan technically, but I did. I've chosen them for the couple weeks here, and I'm having fun with that.
I don't I just think it's interesting to me because I think there are a lot of people who are moderate to even left of center who are just tired of the extremist movements in the Liberal Party and how it has infiltrated almost everything.
Sure. And
I think they're just done. And they're either going to vote independent or they're going to vote Republican because they're just finished. Yeah. And I think there's a huge segment of the minority community, both African American and Hispanic, is just done with it. Because they tend to hold moderate to right of center, ideas or slightly left of center. And it just is so offensive to them that they just can't do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's going to affect things this year.
That middle section that's not well represented. I saw a little clip. I was going to go read the article, but Justin Gibney, who's a political commentator I pay attention to at the AND campaign, he wrote something on that the left or the progressive left and the far right are 6% and 8% of the population respectively, and they're taking up all the airspace.
Yes.
And how a lot of minorities do not have any representation in either, or very little in either one of those groups. And the minority groups that are in the middle, he was talking about, are really getting tired of those two narratives driving everything.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
And he was saying those two groups, the 6% and 8%, are wealthy Anglo, respectively, fighting with each other, which is, when you think about it, you're like, generally, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you and I were going to talk about manhood and
is that what we were?
And ambition, like a couple podcasts back, and we didn't get to talk about that. Elon Musk took over Twitter.
Yeah, I don't do Twitter, so
me neither.
That one I was like,
it's fascinating.
Did you see the big?
I don't even know how to use Twitter.
Did you see the SpaceX launch over Tucson, or did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, one of the most dramatic things I've seen in my life. It made me, for like 5 seconds, I questioned my faith, and I thought maybe superheroes were actually what was going on in the world. I was like, that's Iron Man up there.
Wow.
I was like, no, it can't be Iron Man.
Wow.
But just for a second.
Just for a second, you questioned your life.
I was like, just briefly.
I feel like the world is moving so fast, Andy. It's just like I can barely keep my finger on things.
Yeah.
The ideas are here and gone.
Yeah.
And it's and people still have to get up, go to work, figure out when they're going to podcast. And it's kind of crazy.
I mean, it's kind of the same as it was. We just happen to have more ability to attempt to track it.
Yeah.
But that's exhausting.
Well, I mean, I think money moves differently than it used to because of the electronic
I'm sure
version of money, right? I mean,
do I owe you something? Is that why you're bringing this up?
Yeah, you could cash at me a couple $100.
Oh, okay.
I mean that's the whole, like, before, if I owed you $10, I would have to go to the bank before the ATM and get my $10.
Okay, right.
Or I would have had write you a check.
Yeah.
And then you would have to take that check to the bank to cash it.
I chose to give a check to somebody instead of Venmo yesterday.
Wow.
And apparently I set it next to a Black Widow spider, which was very Halloween.
That's very Halloween.
Yeah. I'm living in an alternate universe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so let's just talk about Halloween. What did you do for Halloween?
Well, let's see. There was some people at our church that did a little costume party Saturday night. We went to that. And then Sunday we did a spooky potluck, and you were allowed to dress up. So I dressed up like John Simon, our other pastor. Okay. Yeah, it was very convincing. People didn't even know who was up there. And then last night there's another little Halloween get together.
I'm not going to even ask any questions about that one. Okay, continue.
You can ask questions. There's another little get together at some people's house. So. Okay. I was Scott Lehman, dealer for the people.
Oh, cool.
So it's just an insider Tucson thing.
Yeah. All right.
So I was in a pickle suit.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm
picture.
in a pickle. You can drive.
Yeah, I've seen like that. You for like just a moment, you attempted to be an Instagram star and then you quit.
No,
like you just appeared on Instagram.
I'm ascending. I'm on the ascent. Twitter's next. I'm just waiting for Elon to iron it all out.
You're taking over.
Oh man, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, well, when you do that, you can start advertising our events.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Wait, when was I trying to be an Instagram star?
I don't know. You just all of these, professional pictures of you appeared on Instagram for a while.
Oh yeah, it was sick. It was awesome. Yeah, people loved it. Changed the world. Here's what I did. I've been kind of contemplating this. So I actually do read a decent amount of Christian content, articles, books, etc. Have thoughts on things, and I don't ever share them at all.
Well, you share them here on Faith Over Breakfast
from time to time.
Well, you've got quite a few episodes. Logged away, my friend.
No. This is the thing. So the other thing is, I also I have a lot of there's old friends and various people from the community that I follow, and one thing I don't like is when a person's these are just my Instagram beefs of what's changed about it, and obviously, it still is what it is, no matter how I use it. But my favorite thing to see was like pictures of your family, something interesting you're doing. Yeah. Okay, and there's part of me that's like, I don't do that much, but I want the little space to share that stuff. And then, but then also, I'd like to be dropping in things I'm reading or suggest that that I want people to read. So I thought I'll make a little profile, and I'll try to really just get people who want to know what I'm thinking about ministry or reading to follow it. And honestly, if the following is small, I've already deleted people that followed me immediately, because I was like, you're not real. I don't want you. I don't need a big number of followers. And so it really just is like, if you're in my church or you're curious about what I read and think about, then follow this. Small group is great, and I'm going to spam the snot out of it with every time I read an article or a book, I'm going to drop it in there. When we do a Faith Over Breakfast, I'm going to drop it in there. But I don't want to do that on the profile if you just want to know, does Andy dress like a pickle? So you'll notice the pickle suit went on the personal profile. It's a pickle place. That's my pickle place.
That's pickle place. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to follow you. I guess I don't follow you. I didn't even realize it. Maybe
aren't you tantalized by this amazing strategy?
No, but
but you'll still follow.
But I'll follow you.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Then I might have some content for Faith for Breakfast.
You just might.
Yeah. So my Halloween, we went around and we invited 45 of our neighbors, or 45 houses, to a party.
This was last night?
Yeah, the front porch.
Yeah,
we didn't know if anybody would show up. Over 40 people showed up.
Nice.
And we got to meet a ton of neighbors we didn't know, and people were super excited. We just threw out. I have a big old flat top, so I brought my flat top over to my neighbor's house.
Flat top
grill.
Oh, okay.
And we did hot dogs and hamburgers and candy.
That's awesome.
People came by and got drinks and
chatted
forever.
That's great.
Yeah.
dude. Good job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was really good.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And people were, just pretty like, we need to do this more, and
oh wow, that's sweet.
Yeah, so that was really fun to kind of start getting to know our neighborhood. And our neighborhood's gotten really young over the last 3 years. Before it was very old.
Yeah,
and nobody wanted to talk to anybody.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that's old people thing, but I just think they all lived there forever and weren't really interested in too much more than what they had.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of new people move in, so that's been cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so that was our Halloween.
Yeah.
I didn't dress up like anything.
No?
No, and in fact, a whole bunch of the parents who came, their kids were going trick-or-treating. This was their thing. They came to the party.
They just hung out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took some of our candy home with them.
Okay.
But they didn't even dress up. So we get a lot of trick-or-treaters, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I heard of people like going to Phoenix and stuff, obviously the Winter Havens and stuff. But then there, like our Abby's school put out a thing about, fentanyl and the candy. And I think there's maybe some renewed just fear and distrust that might factor into sending your kids out to other people's houses to get candy.
Yeah. And I thought it would be bigger this year and it was compared to previous few years, but that just means there was like 5 trick-or-treaters versus 2.
Yeah, I don't think we had any at our actual house.
And I think too, like a lot of the churches do the whole trunk or treat thing.
Yeah, what are your feelings on the trunk or treat?
Well, I mean, I'll
tell you what, man. I don't like it. I'm sure it works very well.
I think it's a safe way to go trick-or-treating for kids. And so I think it provides a safe thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it provides any kind of evangelistic thing. It's just safety, which is a service to the community.
It is.
But it's not something I would really want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a safe place for kids to go.
Do you know what bothers me about it?
What's that?
Why is it trunk or treat? There's not a.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's not. You're not choosing between the two.
Put the kid in the trunk,
it's like,
or get the treat.
Yeah, like trick or treat was once. It had meaning to it.
Yeah.
This is not a binary choice. Trunk or treat. It's trunk. It's treat in trunk.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe Mission and Village should start one, but we call it treat in trunk.
Yeah. And we're authentic about what's going on here. We don't present some binary choice when there is none. There's no choosing.
There's no choosing.
Yeah. You're getting a treat that's in a trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Unless you have a trunk that doesn't give a treat.
Yeah. That would be. So I mean, if you want to do a trunk or treat, you better have some cars in there with just empty trunks.
Right. Or a game.
And somebody comes by there, go, oh, do you have any candy? And they say, nope, just a trunk. That's it.
They got a crowbar for you.
And then you got to have one elephant. Mm-hmm. And they go, oh, trunk or treat. And the elephant says, trunk.
Oh my goodness. Boy, we haven't been together in a while.
Yeah.
This is great.
Too bad. It really is too bad.
It's too bad.
This is great content. This is what the internet's been missing.
Us?
In this political season.
They have been missing us.
This is what people need right here.
Yeah, I voted already. Me too. So I'm happy.
Mailed it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you change the world?
I think I did. I think I changed the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of have a policy of
joining the red wave subtly.
I developed this year, which is if the legislature proposes it, I vote against it.
Oh, okay. So just no on everything.
Half of the propositions was no or no, because I really don't think the legislature has my best interest at heart.
Yeah. The distrust we're all swimming in is very
pretty
real.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a thing. I met the mayor.
Yeah, what'd you think?
She was nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you guys talk about?
My speech, actually.
You made a speech?
I did.
Wow. Who did you speak to?
To people at the opening of the Sunshine Mile.
Oh, yeah? Cool. Yeah. And what was your speech about?
Well, I had to... here was my conundrum. All these people from the various regional transportation authority, the mayor, the councilman. They're all giving their talks. And so I was the last one because I'm on the business association for the Sunshine Mile. I'm the president at the time. And so I knew all the information would have been shared, and it was absolutely all said. And so then I'm going to be up at the end when everybody's done. But also, I get to say the last word, which is interesting as a pastor / business owner in a space that's all really like government and civil service folks celebrating an opening of a street that's been very hotly debated over the years. And so I was thinking, what could I say that would matter in a situation like this? And what I tried to do was to acknowledge and thank people for their perseverance through a very complicated process, and then, adding in the pandemic complications to it all, and just acknowledge that the difficulty and the rarity of people actually making it through this stuff and still being in their position, and thank them. And then I wanted to just acknowledge and thank the residents of the area, and then try to encourage all of us to actually think in a way that would serve them by just asserting what our role to the residents is supposed to be. And so I think what went well is all the various groups felt that they were understood, so I heard from some business owners, some of the people in government, and some of the residents who all were like, we felt like you understood what we went through. Thank you. So that's sort of what I think went right.
Cool.
In it. It was an interesting thing to do, and it had to be very short. So.
No, that's a privilege and an honor to be able to hobnob with the elite of the Tucson, Arizona.
I don't know if there was any hobbing or knobbing, but there was. I mean,
it's a binary choice. You can either hob or knob.
Yeah, it's not one. It's not both. Yeah, it's not hob and knob. It's
hobbing. Nobbing.
Hobnob is really all one thing.
Yeah.
Hobnob. Yeah. Is that what hobbits?
Yes, hobbits hobnob.
Hobnob.
Yeah, we could do that. Oh, there's a subject.
Yeah.
We could talk about the Ring of Power.
Oh, I haven't.
Miniseries, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Well, there you go. We can't talk about that.
Finished Cobra Kai last night, though.
I haven't seen that. I haven't watched any episodes of that.
Yeah, the last one has a lot more F-bombs than the rest of it. There's, but it does present interesting concepts. Like, do you, in life, do you take the Miyagi-Do approach of defense unless offense is necessary, or do you take the Cobra Kai approach of strike first, or is there a good combination of the two?
I think you take the Jesus way, which is the fourth way.
Which is strike defensively. No.
Anyway, so you did hobnob.
There was
a little bit of hobnobbing with the mayor. And did the mayor like your talk?
Well, yeah, no, that was actually really cool. She kind of went out of her way to come over and just say, "Hey, that was really good. Thank you."
Pretty cool.
So that was. Anyway, policies aside, it's nice to be complimented by somebody that has a hard job. It's funny because probably my favorite moment of it all, which I think many of us related to who were leaders there, was somebody drove by and like kind of screamed something when one of the dudes was talking, actually, the head of Rio Nuevo. And he said, "Did he give me the finger just now?" And everybody kind of chuckled. He goes, never mind. That was for the mayor. And then the Mayor Romero, she goes, "I'm used to it." And everybody laughs. And it was like, that's probably when you're in these roles, that's probably, unfortunately, more of the experience is. And part of why I think a lot of them probably struggle to know how to serve us is they just feel like they're getting the finger constantly.
Yeah,
so then
that makes sense.
Well, what do you even do? And no matter what you do, you're not going to please people. So I think that we can talk all day about how the politicians, stink. But man, I think the citizens stink. Like, I as a citizen don't really do this well. Everybody stinks. That's the thing. It's not just, people are all looking at us as pastors. They think we stink. But we're looking at people who go to church and we're like, you guys stink.
Yeah,
we all stink.
I think that these words being spoken by Andy do not represent
the views of the village or mission church. No, you hear what I'm saying. I'm saying what we should do is all acknowledge, like, maybe I stink.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
We started a series called 8 Weeks in Romans.
Uh-huh.
And, chapter 1 and 2 is the theme, what kind of came out and what was we broke the world.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Look at you teaching the very thing you're trying to disassociate from.
We broke the world. So, yes, we're all broken and we keep breaking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, not just the politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the politicians can't blame it all on us.
No, they can't. But, power has a certain amount of a way to corrupt you and to make things complicated.
It does.
Yeah.
But, no, for sure. For sure.
But it's cool that you're hanging out there. You're able to bring the presence of the Holy Spirit to those spaces. I think that's pretty cool.
No, it was. And I was called and asked to do it. Didn't expect that. And
that's an honor.
It was I felt there was a part of me that's like, this is a very brief moment that very few people will remember, if any. But it's also an opportune moment to share something. And even if, I'm there representing businesses, that was my role.
Yeah. But you're also a pastor, so you can't not be a pastor.
But yeah, and it's an opportunity to speak in a way that is different, and to offer a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I hope so I tried to take the two themes I tried to draw from were the theme of redemption and the theme of servanthood.
Cool.
That are biblical, and tried to encourage those.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
That's what I did.
Well, I think we should close with one or two highlights from your church and my church.
Let's go.
Because it's been a while. We haven't chatted. I don't know what's going on in your church.
Sure.
You should tell as they say on Hot Ones, this camera, this camera, this camera. Tell us what's going on in your life.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Have you ever seen Hot Ones?
No.
Oh, man, you got to watch Hot Ones.
Really?
You do. It's a cultural experience.
Oh, man, I've never seen it. Yeah. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
YouTube,
so I thought it was
Hot
maybe
Ones.
a microwave food.
It's when they interview people while eating progressively hotter hot sauce.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so you big time actors dying. And the interviewer has done really deep dives on them. So as it gets hotter, he asks them questions that nobody has ever asked them. And so they're trying to think while their mouth is burning. It is the most interesting interview thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
So anyway, what's going on in your life in the village? I mean, the mission church.
Okay. Where's the hot sauce? Are we doing this? Okay. The most exciting thing is that we've had a baptism.
Cool.
And someone has come to Christ recently.
Yay.
And that's just super exciting for me. Really excited. I hope our whole church is deeply encouraged by this. For me, this is extremely encouraging, and honestly, even like thinking about the backgrounds of the people who I'm talking about here, it's like these are the folks that I've wanted to see God work in the lives of folks in these categories. That's why I got into doing church, and it's been there hadn't been as much of it as I'd hoped, and so to have that happening lately has been deeply encouraging to me, and I hope to many. So that's really big. We just had the weekend was big. We did Cyclovia. We had a great group of volunteers out for that. That's always, that kind of stuff's encouraging. And it felt like COVID put a nice dagger in that, and it was nice to see a good group.
See people out and about.
And getting involved. And we The other interesting, we're having an awful lot of people like moving. I mean, it's an interesting thing, or
like moving
away. Like this, we've had, periods as most churches did 2020, especially 2021, where it felt like you were just losing people for all sorts of weird reasons. I mean, it's hard stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this year, the people that have left, it's all been like we really felt called to go somewhere else, and it didn't feel bad or wrong. It just felt like, oh, I think you are, or they're moving. But we've had a lot of change, and so I think in our church, it just feels like a very different church, and that's complicated. There may be some really good things that come from that, but it's also it's hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad sometimes.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
So, so there's I should have started with that one and gone the other direction.
Yeah, no.
Really,
New Christian,
I really reversed
baptism,
that. Yeah.
People getting involved in the community. That's exciting.
That part has been extremely encouraging. So there's been really a good
exciting.
Honestly, there's always encouraging things and discouraging things. So it's good that they're balanced and even tilting in the direction of encouraging.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, a couple things that are super exciting. Just our community, my neighborhood community, has been praying for our neighborhood for a while. And one person in our neighborhood has started regularly attending our church. So that's cool.
That is cool.
So in our little cul-de-sac, there's like 3 different houses that go to the village now.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. And having all those people show up was really cool for our neighborhood. But then also another cluster of villagers, they've been inviting people in their neighborhood, and it's just, they end up with like 15 to 30 adults and kids, and it's just, they do barbecues. And so that's been really cool just to hear how God's been doing that. So that's been a lot of fun. Babies are coming like crazy. So really? Mark and Lane just had their baby, little Orla, and that's really fun. So just having lots of new life.
Yeah.
And Michael has joined our staff.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right.
And it's really fun to have him on. And so that's been really cool, having Pastor Michael. And what's the other? And new people have been showing up.
Yeah.
And so that's fun. Just seeing new people become part of the community. And we had a women's gathering. We do every 3 months. We have a women's gathering. They all get together. It's usually 1 or 2 of the women who are not on leadership speak. So and then they eat dinner together. Someone speaks. They sing some music or worship, and then they break out and chat and get to know each other. And I'd say we probably have 50 to 55 women, and those things are attended by 25 to 30 women.
Yeah.
And it's not always the same women. So it's people are getting to know each other in that, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Just to see God doing stuff there. I was pretty excited about that. So I don't know. I think God's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, they're hard things. You know, people leave, and that's really hard for us as a community. But this is part of life.
It is. It's always always there.
We have to walk through it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I'm excited about what God's doing. I'm excited about November. November's really crazy at the village. So,
because you've got your soup supper.
We've got soup supper, and Thanksgiving tends to be really big. You know, inviting people over, at least for me, over to our house.
Interesting.
We'll have like maybe 40 people for Thanksgiving at the house.
That's cool.
So yeah, and I'm thinking we'll probably have some neighbors, and we'll probably have some people who are just who are new to our church and stuff like that. So
that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting, as I've thought about your church and ours, I think that you guys, your leaders, are far better at having people into your personal lives. I think that's a distinguishing factor for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the things that we're stronger at.
Yeah.
And I think some of it is just how much people have built their lives around community, and have purposely moved into neighborhoods with each other, and then tried to live life together, and then include people in that. I think that's the big part of what's...
Well, and they do it because you did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's
that's part of it. Yeah.
Like I'm hearing you say, people come to your house for Thanksgiving. You're having people over to your house on Halloween. Like it's.
Yeah. And I would say there's some other people, the McConnells, who helped plant the village.
Yeah.
Who are very similar to us.
Yeah.
So they have been doing that.
Yeah.
Pretty much before we started the church. That has been their lifestyle. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's.
It has had a strong influence. Over the community.
Yeah, cool. So a lot of that in November. As you go into holidays in general, that's probably becomes go time for all that stuff.
Yeah, until we hit Fallow Month, and then even with Fallow Month, we don't do like our Bible studies and any other things other than Sunday. But we do encourage people, invite your neighbor over for dinner, get to know them.
Right.
Go spend a little extra time with your parents if they're in town.
That's part of being fallow as a church is to do that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Yeah. Well, I'm so excited that we actually did this podcast, Andy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it might have been more for you and me, but we might as well publish it and see what happens.
Yeah, people like it. All right. You've been listening to Faith Over Breakfast with Pastor Eric Siepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. Please share us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you.